we've decided to answer to the theme of the Biennale, starting from the paradox that there is no encyclopedic palace, in the sense that no building in the world can contain the knowledge of the world or all objects in the world. Yet a city can have that dimension through its multitude of attitudes, forms, energy, and living spaces. Both Stefano and myself are architects, so we tend to look at things with from an architectural point of view, and very interested in the territory, in the living spaces, and the way that people inhabit spaces. We met Edson Chagas, this young Angolan photographer, whose work kind of really marries our ideas. Edson tends to look for derelict objects in a city of Luanda, carries those objects around the city with him until he finds a perfect spot and creates a new scenario. It stops being pure documentation and it becomes an act of creation, what it does. That on the one hand gives a new meaning to the objects, but on the other hand also a new meaning of the spaces. We decided to display 23 posters of Edson's work around the rooms, and the idea is that the spectator performs as well as the artist when he's working, so that you can choose the pictures that you want and you carry your own, you start building up your own encyclopedia, which then spreads around the streets of Venice, so that the actual pavilion extends beyond the confinement of this palace. What I find really interesting in his work is the fact that Luanda is a city that it's very packed, very dense. The instinct for any photojournalist when talking about that city would be to document that chaos and that density. And it does exactly the opposite. There is an absence of people, but very strong traces of the life and of what that place was. And I think that's very poetic, really.
The project of Beyond Entropy, and Beyond Entropy Africa especially, is a geopolitical project. We adopt the production of art and the production of culture as the privileged instrument to create a discourse between the Mediterranean Europe and Sub-Saharan Africa. We are very proud that the very first bilateral meeting between the Minister of Culture of Italy and the Minister of Culture of Angola took place in the pavilion during the opening. This has been the result of a 3-year-long process that we started with the Angolan pavilion at the Architecture Biennale last year, that continues during the Art Biennale this year, and hopefully will create a continuous program of residencies, artistic residencies and exchange between Italy and Angola.
The choice of the Palazzo Cini was not accidental. We've been creating a long-term relationship with the Cini Foundation, and to a certain extent our installation is allowing visitors to experience something that is closed throughout the year and that they don't have the chance to see. We're also quite interested in this juxtaposition of Edson's work with the classical paintings, because at first it would seem almost like an aggression to bring something contemporary, mass-produced into this space, but it ends up really balancing. They kind of coexist peacefully, both works. And I think that almost folds back to this idea of the cultural exchange and the geopolitical project.